Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everyone. Last couple meetings we didn't have any presentations, so we're making up for it today. And our first one is Walt Whitman High School junior Michael Eastwood, who's presenting on a proposed Eagle Scout project to us. He presented to the Facilities Committee last week and did a fantastic job. So if you'd like to come up and present to the whole board, Michael, thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciafetta, and members of the Board of Education. Thank you for the opportunity to present my Eagle Scout project tonight. My name is Michael Eastwood, and I am a junior at Walt Whitman High School. As a Life Scout with Troop 12 Huntington, I have looked forward to completing my Eagle project at Whitman since I started attending high school, and I am excited to share my proposal with you. A special thanks to Dr. Murphy for his invaluable help in the planning process. My Eagle Scout project focuses on beautifying the main entrance of Walt Whitman High School's Performing Arts Center, which is used daily by the students and the staff. To enhance this space, I will build 3 benches, designated to replicate the existing ones at the entrance. I've included sketches of the benches that I plan to construct. I will also be refurbishing these existing benches. I plan to build and install 3 new benches to increase the available seating at the PAC entrance. 2 benches will be placed on the grassy side to the left of the entrance, as you see on the picture, and the 3rd will go on the gravel side to the right, in that picture, right there. This arrangement will result in 3 benches on each side of the entrance, offering much needed seating for students and visitors. I chose this project because I personally seen and experienced the need for more seating outside the PAC. Adding these benches will provide a helpful solution for those waiting for pickup after school or events. To complete the beautification of the PAC entrance, I will also refurbish the 3 current benches by repairing the needed parts, sanding, and repainting the benches. As you can see in the pictures, some of the benches' wood is starting to fall apart. I also plan to stencil the new Wildcat W logo onto all 6 benches, the 3 existing ones, and the 3 that I will construct. On the right side of the PAC entrance, I will lay bricks in the shape of WW for Walt Whitman within the gravel. These brick W's will be painted white to make them stand out against the blue stone gravel. The gravel will be used as it is good for water drainage. The final part of the project involves clearing out any weeds or dead plants from the garden beds located behind the benches. The estimated cost of this project is approximately $1,350. I will be seeking the community's donations and fundraising with my scout troop to raise the funds needed for my project. I am looking to plan an upcoming car wash to kick off my fundraising efforts. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my proposal, and I am excited to turn this project into a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Great job. So do you have a date for the car wash? Or?
I do not yet.
Okay. When you do, if you can just email that to Dr. Murphy so we can put it on Instagram so we can make sure you get good publicity for it.
Sounds great.
Any questions for Michael? Yes, Mr. Bronson.
Not a question, just more of a compliment. Just well presented. I went through your materials, and it's a very sort of practical and, as you said, well needed a solution to solve for. So I just kudos to that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Great, great project. Everybody in favor? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Terrific presentation. So second on the agenda, we have a recognition of Troop 218. That's why we have all the Boy Scouts here. Who was involved in the ceremonial retirement of American flags collected at Stimson Middle School. This group was comprised of 14 South Huntington students who we have invited here to recognize and celebrate. And I'd like to bring up Stimson Middle School Principal Mike Duggan to explain a little bit more.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Good evening to Mr. Ciapetta and the Board of Education, as well as Dr. D'Elia and the Cabinet. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to talk about a really great event at Stimson from this last spring. With the help of our SBM team and Scout Troop 218, we began an American flag collection and proper disposal initiative at Stimson this year. To tell us a little bit about the entire program, I'd like to invite Jay Gunsel up to speak real quick. Same problem, Jay, don't worry.
Good evening, everyone. As some of you know, my name is Jay Gunsel, and I am the Vice President of 8th grade. I am on the SBM committee at Stimson. I am a member of Troop 218. Tonight, I will be discussing why proper disposal of the flag matters. So why does it matter? Well, it is a show of respect. The flag symbolizes our nation. The flag isn't something that when you're done with it, it just goes in the trash. That's why I'm up here, to teach young people what you do when it is time to retire a flag. A flag is taken down when it is worn, teared, ripped, or faded. What you should do is first fold it as best as possible in the correct way. Then you gently place it into a fire and be quiet. This is a process that needs maturity and responsibility, because if not done correctly, it is a sign of disrespect. The U.S. Flag Code states that when a flag is no longer a fitting emblem, it should be destroyed in a dignified way.
Jay, usually I'm the one that has to move the mic down, so thank you. So this project began really with our SBM committee in the late winter, early spring 2025. And we decided to collaborate on this project with many of the experts in Stimson. We knew that we could do a lot of this work in-house, so we love to collaborate with all the departments, and we asked our tech department to really start us off. The first step was really to create a collection box. We left that up to the trusted hands, again, of our tech department, who helped design a suitable and beautiful collection bin for worn flags. Oops, sorry, don't look at that one. The second step was to design a front cover for the collection box. For that, our 7th grade digital tech teachers led a Canva competition in all of their courses. The winner, Brady O'Connor, created a really wonderful design, and his work was highlighted in the patch in an article this past May. The flags were collected the week leading up to Memorial Day. Finally, those collected flags would travel with Scout Troop 218 for proper disposal this past summer. To speak about that, I want to invite somebody who was really the perfect man for the job, Mr. Keith Gunsel.
Good evening, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, Board of Education, Cabinet, and guests. My name is Keith Gunsel. I am a 1994 Eagle Scout and graduate of Walt Whitman High School. Upon graduation, I enlisted in the United States Navy, and it is in this role that I'm here to speak to you today. When I got out of the Navy, I joined the reserves, but while in the Navy, I participated in quite a few of these flag retirements, so it was in this role that I was the perfect fit for this. I am also a Stimson Social Studies teacher and SBM member, retired Navy Master Chief, retired 26-year life member of Huntington Manor Fire Department, and current Troop 218 Scoutmaster. My community ties run deep. It was on the SBM committee that this idea for flag collection and retirement came to fruition. The following slides will explain the process of building the box. Mr. Tomio?
Thank you, Mr. Gunsel. So the box really took life, as Mr. Duggan said, in our tech department. The tech teachers spoke to the students and let them have the free reins of building the box, the dimensions, the size. When we first saw the box, we thought maybe too big. We're not going to collect that many flags. Then we walked in and we said the box looks like a chair. As you can see, we were very concerned about what this box was going to look like. But as the days went on, the weeks went on, the box started to take shape and looked more like a box, which was wonderful. While we were doing the box build, we had our life skills students kind of participate in the build as well. So you'll see here on the next slide, we had our life skills students help sand and glue the box together. They took great pride in the work that they did. They looked forward to it. They were so excited to wear the proper gear. They wanted to wear it around the building. They wanted to sand everything, which got us excited at Simpson because the walls, we were like, let's sand the walls, let's start painting, let's do it. But they did a great job. This is Brady O'Connor. Brady is the student in the digital tech side, our 7th grade digital tech program. So as Mr. Duggan said, we put out a campaign for the students to do a Canva project to build the front panel of the box, the collection box, and his graphic won the support of his peers as well as the teachers to be the emblem that went on top of the box. So that is it sits still in our front lobby today, and we got a lot of compliments on it. Alrighty, and a little bit about the community involvement. So this was a huge lift. This was months leading up to it, but we had the opportunity to work with Miss Tyrell. I know she's in the back, so thank you, Lee, for your assistance getting this out to the community. The local Huntington Patch picked up our article, and it seemed right after that article posted, we got a lot of flags that came in, and the community came in droves. We had, at the end of the day before we started the Memorial Day celebration, we had over 50 flags that we collected in 1 week. Those flags came from teachers, from security guards, from neighbors across the street. We had senior citizens coming in, knocking on the door, trying to come talk to us about how old their flag was and how appreciative of the school they were that we had the opportunity to have this bin and a reciprocal for them to kind of place their worn and tattered flags, so they didn't know what to really do with it. So they kept asking, is this going to stay in the building? And to that, it will stay in the building, as well as the library. The VFW has one at the local library, so we plan on keeping ours in our building and informing the community that there is another collection box within the community. So it was really awesome to have, random people show up at school, right? That's what you want. But we had Miss Bianchi in the box. She was really good at making sure it was safeguarded. Nobody entered the building. We made sure that we kept all the flags in the vestibule, and then our security guards put them in to the collection box. But overall, it was a really wonderful community-engaged project, and students learned a lot about the process of what it takes to start with nothing, collect something, and then finalize it up at Camp Yagu. So I will continue to pass the mic on to Mr. Duggan so he can talk about the troop and how they contributed the final commitments to the project.
Whoops. And I'm going to be calling Mr. Gunsel up in just a second, but I want to, as I'm looking at all of you guys here, just tell you how appreciative we are for the hard work that you've done, being a part of the troop. Some of that work, it goes unnoticed. You probably feel like it goes unnoticed, but little tiny projects like this go a really long way. So I just want to tell you how proud I am and how proud we all are of everything you did. So thank you so much. Mr. Gunsel, if you want to speak a little bit about the troop.
So yeah, thank you. So, I have all this written down, but I'm just so proud of these boys. Of the 34 scouts in Troop 218, 16 attended summer camp at Yagu Scout Reservation in Rhode Island. Of those 16, 14 are South Huntington students, 11 currently going to Stimson. To complete the task of proper disposal, I had some ideas, but I reached out to a friend and fellow fireman from Huntington Manor, Mr. Alex Demarest. In true fashion, he came through by working with his son AJ, also a troop member, who is now in 7th grade. So I just want to let you know, as a 6th grader leaving school, this kid welded. and completed what we needed. And he's going to speak to that in a second. But it just is a test to the scouting program and what it does for these boys. So at camp, all the scouts took turns in retirement, but before that, we actually had to sort them. Only the cotton ones could be burned. We did not burn any of the nylon ones knowingly. Some of them we thought were cotton and wound up melting. But it is, as my son said, as Jay said, a respectful occasion. And each boy are actually to be given one of the recovered grommets from the flags that we burned at our future Court of Honor in October. So I have one for each of the boys that was there. The idea came to us from a staff member who actually had one on a keychain. So we went ahead, we were gonna recycle them, but I saved them for the boys, we recovered them. I was hoping to polish them, but that's not gonna happen. I was recently told that they'll just get ruined. Ultimately, those nylon flags that we bought back from Rhode Island are going to either the VFW or American Legion drop box so they can properly dispose of them. And that's what I have.
I'm going to invite AJ to come on up here and talk to us a little bit about your process and how you created the grate for this.
Good evening. My name is AJ Demarest, and I am a scout from Troop 218. I'm here to talk about the flag decommission station that I built for my troop. It is something that my troop can use for years and years to come. And I'm here to explain how I built it. With the help of my dad, we made the design on his computer that said Troop 218 Huntington Station, New York, flag decommission station. And we cut it out on a CNC plasma table. And I welded it onto a grate that would be used to prevent the embers of the flags from flying away. And the grate would go on top of the barrel. There's also a grate at the bottom of the barrel, which is to stop the grommets from falling into the bottom of the barrel. Welding has become a hobby of mine, and I am honored to have been able to use my skills to help out my troop and my community. Thank you.
And you can see up here, this is AJ at work. We have two quick videos for everyone. So full safety measures at all times, we appreciate that. And we just have a couple of pictures showing you the actual flag burning here. I believe that's Jay on the left-hand side. You can see on the right-hand side that beautiful grate that AJ had created and doing that proper disposal. And finally, we have some more of the boys here. And so we just want to thank you so much, and we appreciate all the love and support tonight. And thank you to our SBM team, our technology teachers, a number of the teachers here, our scouts, Mr. Gunsel. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're so proud. This is our first student recognition of the year, and it's a great one to start off with. And these students are really impressive. So we have a token of our appreciation and our thanks from the South Huntington Board of Education and the Cabinet. And Mr. Gunsel, would you like to read the names off? Okay.
Are they in this order?
Yes.
Devin Borden. Cooper Daniels. Alexander AJ Demarest. Andrew Andy Gabowdy. Brian Gulickson. Jay Gunsel. Joseph Lantier. Andrew Litwin. Caleb Marsden. Brendan McCord. Sebastian McCord. Christian O'Connor. Ronaldo Rodriguez. And Diego Tupiza.
All right, if we have all of our students come up to take a picture with the Board of Education and Dr. Delia, as well as Mr. Duggan, Mr. Tomio, Mr. Gunsel as well, of course. Thank you. Anyone else? Come on, all the students, we can come up, bring your proclamations. Yeah, in the center, yeah. Is that Michael's? That's right now. On the beneficiary line? Michael. All right, great job. Good luck. Yeah, great presentation. So thank you. You did terrific. All right, we'll move into our next presentation. First, I want to thank Mr. Duggan and Mr. Tomio for bringing that recognition to my attention. As always looking for great students to honor, and that certainly fit the bill. And notice we gave out every single proclamation we had. We had 100% attendance, so that's great. Yeah, it's rare. Usually somebody's missing. All right, so our next presentation is on our summer camps, and we decided to do this year because we really had amazing success at our summer camps. Our numbers were good, as well as the kind of programs that we offer are really tremendous, and I thought they deserve some highlighting. So to do so, I'd like to introduce Walden High School teacher Ralph Milazzo. Ralph? Ralph is fresh off a opening day victory in football. So.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Very tough act to follow. Those kids were awesome. For those who don't know me, I'm Ralph Milazzo, social studies teacher at Walden High School, varsity football assistant coach, varsity girls basketball assistant coach, varsity girls flag football head coach, natural helpers co-advisor, and I'm here to speak to you today in my new role, first year ever completed as supervisor of Wildcat camps. So I'm so thankful to Dr. Lee and the cabinet, Mr. Ciapetta, and the Board of Education for giving me this opportunity to get this experience in this new role. And it's really something, like Mr. Ciapetta said, that shows the great expansion and building on the great success that has been Wildcat Camp. And it's been started way before my time, decades ago, now over 20 years. And pretty much everyone in the South Huntington community has either had a camper go to camp or has knowledge of it and realizes the great impact that it has. So hopefully I can, in a very brief, short span here, kind of highlight the great scope and scale of the Wildcat camps, right? Because sometimes you associate camp and it's just this small little local camp providing maybe just sports, but you'll see here in a second that overall the Wildcat camps have so many opportunities for the kids of South Huntington and do so at such an affordable rate compared to other competitors that it really is a great service that the district provides. I could not be here today and speak about the success without the great help of everyone that made my transition to this role so seamless. I got to start off with Mr. Barth, our athletic director, who entrusted me with this responsibility and kind of gave me a lot of leeway and autonomy over camp, and hopefully I did him proud. I have to say I could not have done it again without the great athletic department secretaries, Donna Grennan and Michelle Tomsunin, that are there 24/7 and answering a million phone calls and a million emails, because trust me, we got a lot of emails when our website wasn't working at first, when it first opened up and throughout the camp. So they're awesome, and they are integral to success, not only our athletic program, but also our summer camp. And all the directors, right, we're going to see here in a second how many different individual camps go under the umbrella of Wildcat Camp and the summer camps, and each individual director, or directors in some cases with the camps, plays such a huge role in organizing their camp and making sure that they're successful overall. Right? Then we have our coaches and our counselors who provide such a great experience for our campers, our parents that are so both accommodating and responsive to any needs that we have with the camp, and of course the kids overall. So I introduced myself here. If you look here at this slide, and it might be tough to see up here, but overall this is the breakdown week by week of the different camps that Wildcat Camps provides. So you start out with the original Wildcat Sports Camp, which is weeks 1 through 4, right after school ends. But we've also added Kiddie Camp that goes for our K-2 campers throughout those same weeks. And Miss Eastwood was here just with their son just now, the famous now Science Camp. That is weeks 1 through 4. And just shout out to them. Their numbers were so huge this year that we had a wait list every single week for Science Camp. The service that they provide, that's 90 kids that we capped it at. Every single week there were people requesting to get into Science Camp because of how enjoyable the experience is that Mr. Goldman makes and his staff there. So overall, those camps run for the first 4 weeks. And then within it, we also have Culinary Camp, which we're going to see in a second is a huge hit and has provided so many good opportunities for our campers. And also, again, was at wait list and capped that the numbers exceed, and it sells out. Literally, the registration opened on March 10th, and certain age groups sold out within hours of it opening. That's how popular it is overall for our campers. Coding Camp, Miss Daniels, I saw here, Miss Sandy Daniels took over Coding Camp this year and did an awesome job and provided such a great experience for the kids and such great skills at such a young age. It's going to be so valuable for them in the future. Theater, Art, and Music Camp, which has run for multiple years, was in week 5. And again, huge numbers. You have to see the line week 5 outside the PAC entrance of people both registering and dropping off their kids. It took over 30 minutes to get through the line because that's how much demand Theater, Art, and Music Camp has. And then our last camp that we just introduced this year, or camps, because it's both AM and PM, Drone and BattleBots. We'll see at the end here of our slides that is now an opportunity for students in the middle to high school grades to have an opportunity to work with that technology. And Mr. Caravias and Mr. Farraco took that over and gave such a fun experience. And you had to see drones flying through the 400 wing down in Walden High School or outside on the grass. They made like a huge obstacle course of drones, and they made a huge battle match. I don't even know what you want to call it, in the 400 wing where the battle bots would battle. So just overall, it's not just sports camp anymore. There's so many different opportunities. And the cool thing about it is, and you can see it down at the bottom, kids can choose to do flag football in the morning and then go to culinary and cook in the afternoon, right? You have such great options that I don't think any district on Long Island provides this many options for our community. And you can get such a well-rounded individual out of just the 5 weeks of Wildcat Camp, all for the very low prices that you see on the board, right? Most sessions are $150 for the entire week. You can't really buy that anywhere else, right? So I've talked a lot. I'm going to go with the old adage that a picture's worth 1,000 words and run through some pictures of each one of the camps and just highlight some of the great things that went on. So we start out by saying that we reached a record number of registrations over the 5 weeks. We had 3,684 registrations. Now that could be campers going to multiple sessions during the week or multiple sessions over the course of the weeks, but that's a pretty staggering number, 3,684 registrations, and shows the great success that we had and the great popularity that we have, and the proof that this camp provides something that a lot of people want, right? So we have sports here. You can see the whole range of sports is provided, ages 3 through 9, not ages 3 through 9, grades 3 through 9, and we go week by week, kind of the seasons of the sports when it comes to the high school level, right? So you could see people playing golf down outside of the North Gym. You could see track, you see lacrosse, volleyball during week 1. You see other opportunities where cheer that runs all 4 weeks and also had huge demand, where there were over 60 cheerleaders on the turf giving their cheer performance in some weeks. Recreation runs all 4 weeks as well and provides so many great opportunities for our kids. Run through to week 2. Now we have football and soccer added into the mix with cheer and rec as well. Basketball in week 3 had huge numbers. There's over 100 kids in the gym, both boys and girls, playing basketball in the North and South Gym during week 3. Baseball, lacrosse, something dear to my heart, flag football, girls flag football we offer now, and we had our highest numbers ever for girls trying out and playing camp for flag football. Okay, kiddie camp is pretty much, we say, kind of the bell cow of Wildcat Camp. They go over 100 kids every single week in grades K through 2. And I have to shout out, because they're here right now, both the Whitman administrative team and the Oakwood administrative team for being so accommodating. I know that it's not great to kind of shut down your school for the first 4 weeks of the summer when you probably want the custodians to come in and break down classrooms and get stuff organized. But they are so accommodating, and they let us pretty much have free reign of both schools in order to provide these great services for our campers and for the students of our community. So Oakwood does huge numbers. They had a field day every single week. We have our great staff here, which are mainly elementary school teachers that are specialized in dealing with our elementary school campers. And there's such excitement. I made it a point to go down there because it's separate from a lot of the other camps that are at Whitman. I made it a point to go down there, and I didn't really know anything about kiddie camp until I went down there the first day of it, and I'm like, wow, I have to come back every single day because it's such a fun and enjoyable experience down there. Science camp, like I said, they do awesome numbers. They do such a great job. There are 3 groups in 3 classrooms of the 600 wing of 30 kids packed in there, and they're just doing nonstop science and nonstop fun. They have Sweetbriar Farms that comes in every single week to give the kids the opportunity to interact with different insects. As you see Mr. Goldman there on the bottom left-hand corner, that's the science camp director, so you know it's going to be a fun experience with Mr. Goldman there. Different animals, different insects every single week. And then obviously just so many different experiments, so many different activities. Every single week I would go up there, every single day I would go up there and not know what they were doing, but just know that the kids are having a good time doing it. Like we said, culinary does huge numbers. You see it all over the social media of South Huntington and Janine D'Elia and Sheila Bushy just provide such a great opportunity for our kids. And like I said, they could be cooking in the morning and then go out and play soccer in the afternoon. So you see so many different plates that they produce. They had field trips to Wegmans. Every single age group, every single half of the day was able to go to Wegmans and get some interaction with a real live supermarket and real live food production. Right, just some other examples of that here. Coding camp, like I said, Miss Daniels did such a great job taking over coding camp. She sent me so many photos. I tried to fit them all as much as I could into this slide, but again, I would go there every single day and the kids would be having fun and they'd be learning something that's very valuable. Art, theater, and music camp. There's so many different options, and I got to shout out Miss DeMonte that's here. All of these pictures, photo credits of her, but she's a part of theater, art, and music camp, and this also, again, kind of reflects the great spirit of Wildcat Camp that you have 3 different sessions. You can do dance, digital arts, photography, theater, all within 4 hours of each other. So you're just, again, giving so many different good experiences for the kids at such a young age, and they can find out what they're interested in, what they're really excited about doing in the future, right? And you kind of make a very well-rounded individual just right out of Wildcat Camp, right? So some other theater, art, and music. And then we have our newest creation, Drone and BattleBots Camp. And like I said, it was pretty cool to see the kids interact with this technology. I don't think there's anywhere else on the Long Island anywhere we fly a drone in camp or use BattleBots in camp. So like I said, there's a lot of new build rooms in that science wing and the 400 wing, and we put all of that to use during Wildcat Camp. This is Mr. Caravias here. We don't have to play the full video right now, but he gets really fired up about the BattleBot matches, and you have to hear the kids and see the kids get so excited to work on these projects and then see it play out in the BattleBots match. And then lastly, is this going to keep going? Or do I have, This is right in the middle of the 400 wing in the high school. All right, and then finally, I feel like this is fitting the way to end any presentation about Wildcat Camp, is the famous Fire Truck Friday, right? And so I had somebody ask me, like, are they really still into Fire Truck Friday? Has it kind of lost its luster? And I would say, without a doubt, that's not true. The kids, it really is a highlight of their camp experience. And I have to shout out and thank the Huntington Manor Fire Department, especially Mike Pastore, who coordinates every single Fire Truck Friday with us. So much so that we actually had a week where the fire truck was late. And I'm calling up Mike, and I'm like, Mike, where's the fire truck? We're about to do Fire Truck Friday. And he's like, we had a fire in wherever they had a fire, that they had to reroute the fire truck. He's like, I'm sending another one to you guys. I'm like, take care of the fire. Don't worry about Fire Truck Friday. But that's how Mike is in the Huntington Manor Fire Department. They're so excited about doing this that they sent one truck, and then the other truck came right after the fire as well. So they're so excited about it. The kids are so excited about it. It's the highlight, like I said, of the camp week, and it really caps off a great week of camp. And overall, it's been a great, successful year of camp. I'm really excited to see where camp goes in the future. And like I said, I'm really thankful for the opportunity in this role, and can't wait to have more successful summers and more Fire Truck Fridays going forward. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Milazzo. Great job. And last year, Dr. D'Elia said our summer camps are getting so big, we really need somebody to coordinate it. And, you're a great selection, and you do 100% everything that you do, so thank you. All right. Our final presentation, also things that were happening over the summer and still happening. And it's 45 slides, it looks like. But I heard they go quick. But there's a lot here. So to tell us about our facilities overview, we have Mr. Ken Costa and Mr. Dennis Martin, and a lot of what we're doing over the summer was at Memorial, so you'll see a lot of pictures of that and how that progress is coming. So, gentlemen.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Ciapetta, the Board of Education, the Administrative Cabinet, and our learning community for letting us present. As always, there's an excited time I want to just start by saying something to keep in mind is that most of our buildings were built in the late 1950s and early 60s. So as you watch the presentation, it's just real important to keep that in mind. We have about 1 million square feet of maintenance buildings and facilities to do, and about 172 acres of fields. So we're going to present. Mr. Costa is going to take over.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I do have to move the microphone a little bit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, one thing that's really interesting, listening to all the presentations and the students and what's going on around the district. It's amazing what we do here in South Huntington. And as a Whitman grad, I'm very proud to be here in front of all of you today. I'm very proud of what's going on in the district. And listening to each presentation, knowing that we do the work, Dennis, myself, and all of you do the work to support every program that goes on. So I'm watching these kids in their shops and the technology that's going on and all the camps, knowing that it's the Board of Education's vision, the Cabinet's vision, the facilities director, and capital projects makes it all possible. We give them the tools needed to be successful, and everyone else does their job in making sure that it does happen. And it's happening beautifully in this district, and I'm very proud to be part of it. Be that as it may, talking about capital projects, and as Mr. Martin said, there's 45 slides, and Ralph and Dr. Leah said so eloquently that pictures are worth 1,000 words. So we do have a lot of photos to show you, and the capital projects really kicked off at the end of last school year with the science room renovation in Walt Whitman High School. Unfortunately, I didn't include that slide, and I forgot it this morning. As I was saying before, I'm like, I forgot the science rooms. Out of all the projects that we just finished up, we renovated 3 of the science rooms in a 400 wing, which came out absolutely beautiful. We put in new gas lines, water lines, desks, painted the walls, ceiling tiles, new lights. I mean, it came out absolutely beautiful, fully functioning chemistry rooms in the high school. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture to show you, but I can tell you that they did come out beautifully. And if you coordinate with Dr. Murphy, I'm sure he would love to give you a tour. We'll move right along in our capital projects for this coming year. We do have the Oakwood and Birchwood outdoor learning centers. So starting this fall, we are planning on breaking ground in both buildings to create outdoor learning spaces for our students. It's going to promote mental health, physical health, science enrichment, math enrichment, and basically enjoying the outdoors in a learning community. And I have to compliment Dr. McCallion and Mr. Dimitri working so closely with our architectural firm to create such a warming and inviting space. The spaces are beautiful, and they piggyback off of one another. So with with Oakwood, we're starting out in a smaller project where the students are going to learn about the outdoor learning centers and progress into the next grade level with Dr. McCallion's building. And it's going to be a wonderful transition from Oakwood to Birchwood, and then moving on to the upper level curriculums in science, math, and phys ed. So we're really excited for these programs. If you could look on the slides, some of the outdoor activities are listed here at Oakwood. And again, we're trying to be as expedient and succinct as possible. This would be Birchwood. These are the proposed landscapes. They all have surface areas, some turf, some hardscape, some concrete. So the students have all different environments to play on and learn on. So it's a really exciting time. This fall, we plan to break ground, and hopefully those projects will be completed before Christmas time or the holiday break. Excellent. Moving on to our 1957 building, Memorial, which is soon to be our 6th grade center. This is some of the photos of what the building looked like prior to construction. As Mr. Martin had pointed out, a lot of our buildings are old. Okay, they're both built in the 50s and 60s. As you can see by some of our floors that are in the building, our walls, our old lighting, our ceiling, the lockers, they are very dated. And they look completely different right now, which is part of as the work was in progress, we had demoed all of the lockers in the entire building. And I have to give a shout out and compliment to Dennis's facilities department, whether it's our maintenance department, our plumbers, our custodial staff. They really went above and beyond in the building. I know that Mr. Martin's going to speak to that later on. but they did a lot of the demolition work along with our vendors and contractors. Moving forward, we've completed the 100 wing in the building. For those of you who don't know Memorial, there are 3 main wings, the 100, 200, and 300 wing. The 100 wing we rent out to the Montessori school. So one of our tasks this summer was to ensure that the Montessori wing was complete. So what you see on the left-hand side of the slides here, this is the main hallway in the Montessori wing. This is what that main hallway for the rest of the building is going to look like. Now I just want to go back for a moment. That's our current look. That's what it's going to look like. Absolutely beautiful. On the right-hand side is a model classroom that is complete. New floor, painted walls. We have a split unit AC, new ceiling, and new lights that are very similar to these. And again, just another view. This picture on the left-hand side right here, this is what the new floor is going to look like in the rest of the building. So if you see the flooring there, that is called a luxury vinyl tile, which is going to be throughout all the main corridors in the building, followed by our VCT, which is a tile on the right, which is your standard classroom tile.
So, Mr. Costa,
Yes.
just when we go back, I know you said it was complete, but we're also looking to do casework, right? In those rooms, so we have
Yes.
shelving.
Shelving in the
something to come
classrooms.
future.
Yes, Dr. Leah. Shelving in the classrooms for the teachers, along with new teacher desks, whiteboards, corkboards. Our new line boards are coming in, new technology. And if you look on the right-hand side, these are all new hallway clocks, digital clocks with our split units. And in every classroom, we have a speaker box that could show a digital display. In the event of lockdown, we have strobes as well as two-way communication. So it's this is going to be our state-of-the-art building. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Amanda and the technology team for working very closely with our technology integration and our cabling for the entire building. Just did a phenomenal job. And again, this project really took the entire district to do. This is a huge endeavor, and it's coming along beautifully. All right. Along with the regular building renovation, we are also renovating the kitchen. This is an existing kitchen that was completely ripped out and gutted. We're installing new walls, new serving lines on either side. If you look in the picture on the far left, top left-hand corner, excuse me, that's going to be a storefront, all glass like they have at the South Cafeteria on both sides of the kitchen to serve the students in an east and a west cafeteria. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, moving along. So the cafeteria, we should have our cafeteria equipment looking for an install date of October 4th. That's very aggressive, but that's what we're looking for. So hopefully next time we meet, you'll see a lot more progress, not only in the cafeteria, but throughout the building as well. Moving on to our technology integration, we have a makerspace coming to play hopefully this winter at some time at Stimson. This is currently in the design phase, and again, this is slated to start sometime mid-winter for the makerspace.
And that's on the second floor of the library, right?
Second floor of the library, what used to be called the loft, correct? The loft area. Moving on to back to Walt Whitman High School. So at Walt Whitman High School, we are now in phase 2 at the stadium project. Part of the stadium project included, if you see the W up there, that is a Wildcat inlay, a W inlay, on a turf field just coming down from the stadium with a new plinth that's going to house our new mascot, the Wildcat bronze statue. Show you some pictures of the progress there. We have our stamped concrete on the top left-hand side, which is all new padding. If you see the square outlined in white in the stamped concrete, that's actually the time capsule. So underneath that concrete pad, excuse me, is where the time capsule is buried. The rock at Walt Whitman High School has been relocated on the triangular pad across from the stamped concrete, and our PTA walkway has been completely refurbished, reset with additional bricks, and made larger. This is just another look. If you look on the left-hand picture, this picture is where the turf is going to go along with the W inlay. The picture in the middle is going to be where the Wildcat statue will be housed. And of course, we have our classic school bell, which is set on top of the stamped concrete. All right, moving on. Continuing with athletics and the theme of everything else that's happening this evening. This is our proposed Walt Whitman multi-purpose turf field that will be on the West Hill side of the campus, adjacent from the main field. This field is going to be able to house all kinds of activities, primarily, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Barth, soccer and field hockey, and lacrosse, and some football practices, which is a great expansion project.
Maybe flag football too.
Flag football as well. I don't know if Coach Malazzo is still here, but we are slated to break ground that sometime mid-November. Looking for that. Moving right along, back to Walt Whitman High School. We're staying with Walt Whitman High School. We have the Media Center and Production Studio that is slated to come into play late winter into early spring, where we're going to create in the 200 wing. 200 wing art wing next to the art gallery. I don't know if those of you who are familiar with the high school, you know the old classroom that has the stage in it. Used to be a public speaking room. That is going to be now the new media center and production studio. So we're slated to start this project sometime midwinter, early spring, completed by the end of the school year. That's our goal.
I want to just thank Assemblyman Steve Stern, who helped secure a grant for that as well. An amount of $250,000, so a very significant grant.
Very helpful. Very helpful. What else we have? Okay, we have a Walt Whitman High School traffic light. So the proposal was to create a traffic light at the end of the driveway at Walt Whitman High School and West Hills Road. We are currently working with the town of Huntington on our traffic study pattern. And once that is approved and finalized, they will be moving forward on installing a traffic light at that intersection of the driveway and West Hills Road. And finishing up with our capital improvements for this year, starting by the summer of 2026, we'll be repaving, the J-Cal parking lot. It's in desperate need of a new parking lot, new parking area. This place is riddled with potholes, and we're in the process of making it a much better place. So that's just a slight overview of what's going on, and it's hard to really explain or articulate the amount of work that has been going on in the district. You know, coming from a building level, moving into the district level perspective in the facilities, working with Mr. Martin, the amount of work that happens in this place, not just in the classrooms, but in our facilities, is tremendous. And I can't speak more highly enough of all the men and women that work in those departments and doing a great job. So I want to thank them publicly. Thank Mr. Martin. It's been a wonderful experience, and I'm very excited to unveil all these projects to all of you when they are complete.
Thank you, Mr. Costa.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
All right, so we move on to the in-house. Like Mr. Costa said, he went through a lot of stuff there. One thing for sure is that the Wildcat pride does not fall short in facilities. We've got a great group. It is nice to have the capital projects year after year. We're doing a lot of work that's very visible. But there's something special about our team. It's very powerful when our group has the pride. That's something you can't pay for. That team cares, and it shows. So I'm hoping to highlight some of the things that the group has been working on and doing. So again, as we said, the district is a great collaboration, as we've been talking about, between food service, IT department, security, special ed, principals, administration, the unions, the students that we listen to and get ideas from, is always trying to help us prioritize and move through the different ideas. We get about 25 to 80 work orders a month at minimum. So on that daily basis, above and beyond projects, we're continually trying to service the district and get out there through different classroom hours. So that's early mornings, late nights, and it's very impressive to watch the team work. So our facilities projects, you can see it's a robust list that we've been working on through the restoration phase, from the air conditioning, pre-Ks, new line boards, hand dryer upgrades, water fountains, district painting, counter rebuilds. It goes on. It's an extensive list that we work through. Some of the highlights that we have are the air condition upgrades. It's something that Dr. D'Elia had forged early, and now we can see where we're heading with temperature controls and the extreme need for this. So we were able to get way ahead of the group. We continue to add them and work in very difficult areas that you can see. This isn't just replacements of window units. We install our own split units that have rooftop condensers to highlight that. You can see here something like the robotics. That's a rooftop unit. It's about 45,000 BTUs with dual heads. You can see on the bottom picture, the heads are nicely placed. The line work that is done, it outmatches any contractor we could have out there. And that's where we get back to that pride, that Huntington pride, that it's our staff, our team doing it. They see it every day. They see the students, and it is really impressive to see what they're able to do when they have the time and resources. Last year, if you remember, we did the South Gym. This year, we opened up the North Gym. We have the electronic window is done, so I'm sure that's something they're excited to feel. That cross breeze going up top is just necessary means, and we have that going. This, you're looking at the pre-K. So if you look at the left side top, those doors, that's your most of the rooms. This is Silas Wood, have that configuration, or they have lockers inside that gully. So our team has to go in, we demo that, we rip out all of the old shelving, we repaint it, we clean it up, and then you can see the shelving that was added. I know Sheila Busey, she did a great job in picking out furniture and working with the staff there and the principal to come up with some nice clean looks, but you can see the shelving, the benches, the different configurations. That will continue into next summer, 2026. We'll have to continue that work in ripping out closets and preparing to have the rest of the upgrades there, which you can see the difference once you get in there is just a really nice look. New line boards. We have been working closely with the IT department. This year was a great scheduling. We worked with Marley and their team. We have over 52 to install this year to catch up. So again, the maintenance department, we try and schedule these things out tight. It's a collaboration. It's a great collaboration. We're doing about 3 mornings a week to stay on track so we can get this year's proposed boards up in every room. So sometimes the unnoticed things. There are some old boards that take 3 staff members to take down. That's the weight of some of those old boards. So you might be thinking, okay, send somebody over, they put the new one up. It's a change of brackets. It's a lot of work that goes in there, but you wouldn't think, okay, they're taking it down. They're bringing 3 people over. We're doing that about 3 days a week in the mornings to try and get done before the classrooms start and come in. That's been a great process going. So we've been listening to the students and Dr. Murphy. Our hand dryer transformation has begun. So I know we're not the only one that I'm passionate in facilities with plumbing and hand dryers and things like that. I know it was something they were looking forward to. They've started going up in the high school, and we'll make our way through the entire district on that. So the other 2 mornings, early mornings, they're out there doing stuff like that and changing that, along with prioritizing those work orders that we have to get done.
Fantastic. Finally dry your hands.
Yeah, yes, they are. High-powered, sleek, they're beautiful. We're coming along. Water fountains continue. That's a district-wide project. We prioritize the ones that are getting older and failing. Right now we're in Oakwood, putting some in, and we have the high school coming up, so we balance that in as well to get those up and running across the district. And right here, we're looking at the painting. So our district-wide efforts that started last year, getting in all the buildings. We're looking to have that district welcome with our familiar colors as people walk in. So we've been moving along on that. It's a balance. You're looking on the right side in the lower end. That's Stimson. We are going back to Birchwood next when we can. It still kind of has some blue walls on that first floor, but we're making our way around, and it should be very noticeable out there as we progress.
Is the Birchwood Bowl still there?
The Birchwood Bull is still there. It's on our list. That's one of the gyms that is, we're trying to make our way through.
Birchwood Bulldog, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the
Bulldog.
Bulldog. There it is. Yes, he is still standing proud in the gym. We didn't get there yet. We're very hopeful. Listen, we know South Huntington. We don't sleep here. The buildings are used night and day. Although the painters are out there at night, that building, and especially at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of the parent-teacher stuff going on. So we're trying to balance that between getting Memorial ready and the rest of the district. But it's coming along, and we'll be back in there.
And their painting is just, tremendous. It makes a huge difference to have consistent colors across all our buildings. I mean, particularly at Stimson, it changed the whole foyer look there, and we're going to finish that as well.
Yeah, it's really made a difference. I think everyone can feel that when they walk into every building, that where it's been started, and it's really got a nice approach, and we're going to keep that going. Stimson dividers, the stalls in the back gym, those were replaced. They were getting really old. So we keep continuing again with the upgrades and moving us through. All right, I don't know where that next picture didn't come up yet. There we go. So counter rebuilds. So over at facilities, in their shops, they're not just having lunch over there. So, they do this is the kind of work they're doing in between all of the other stuff. So sometimes in the afternoons, as they're finishing up, if you look at the top left, that's a counter that was built out of the plywood by our team. They laminate it, they shape it and size it. On the right side is country wood. That's our next replacement. Again, I'll get back to that 50-year 1950s buildings. It's starting to show its age in some spots, and we just keep trying to go and keep it up. When they first went in, we tried to do that last week. The valves didn't hold to take the sink out. So we had to go back in, change the valves, and we have that up and coming, and we'll change that one out. Eventually, we'll get that whole wing. That wing is the wing that it shows the most, and we're going to make our way through there. But they do that in their in-between time is when they're making that. On the bottom left is the counter. Oakwood had a much-needed counter to go in their front, and you can see it from the shop version to when they finished, and it's placed in the main office there at the front end. And just that craftsmanship is again, it's unmatched. When they have the time and the ability to do something, it just really shows. This continues the craftsmanship. If you look at Silas Wood facade, again, the buildings out there, you can see on the top pictures, we had some friends and some birds that were trying to nest there, and we've done Oakwood. If you look at the bottom section, the hardy board replacement, they made those, cut those in the shop, and to speed up the time process, they bring them out and they place them in, and that beautification starts. We have a lot to go, but you can see the type of work that we're doing, and we just keep chipping away at as soon as we can. So exhaust fan replacement, that's a big push. Up top there, you have what we're doing currently. We're working on the high school. There's over, at the high school, we have about 66 exhaust fans on the rooftops. Alone at the high school, we have about 240 across the district. Our maintenance crew leader, Jay, has done a great job putting together a preventative maintenance plan where we're going out there, we're changing belts, and we're getting started at that as well. That PM plan, again, we also have night staff out there. So we have a HVAC worker that's out there at night hanging split heads and doing stuff. You're waking up in the morning, it's already there. We got our magic happening all day long, all night long, and weekends, and it's starting to show. Over here is the Stimson Middle School. They purchased a CNC machine. We're trying to work with that staff there. We ran power into the shop to upgrade and prepare for it. And we're looking at whatever exhausts are needed, but we're real excited to see what the students are going to be able to create with that CNC machine. I mean, it's a computer router, basically. But I think that's going to be an amazing addition there that
Martin,
Dr. Murphy will be jealous of for sure.
He's not getting one. Do you know what it builds?
So you can build everything from signs and on for the front of our buildings. It's unlimited with that computer unit that you can program and start creating all different. Anything with that electric router, you can program it in and create. But that's the obvious one where we have all these projects going on that you were just showing that we're always getting signs made for us that go above them, and that'll be the type of thing that'll be exciting to see the students be a part of the process and make them for us. It's going to be a nice addition. So we get back to Memorial. I'll try and get through these quickly, but it's a different perspective for me and my team as opposed to what the contractors are doing out there. To highlight their ability, this is the entire group, both custodial, maintenance, grounds, working every single day. When you look at some of those pictures, the lockers, the age of the building, and as you keep going through the unseen things, the ripping out of the lockers where it's empty in those empty spaces, we have old unit ventilators. There's air tubes running through there. We were able to start replacing and repairing a lot of that because now you're getting inside it. But that's the work that's being done, capping off piping. We're doing mason work on closing walls back up, but it's the unseen stuff that you're just gonna go straight to those beautiful pictures that they're working on every day. When you look at the amount of concrete alone on the floors in every classroom, this is a pretty picture. If you were to walk in during the day, they have respirators on, they had to grind down the walls of every one of those rooms. So those pretty pictures you see at the end, prior to that, when you look at the barrels that were being filled per room, dragged out of rooms, it's just getting some of that insight and understanding. And again, that's back to where that pride is. I tell you, the contractors in the building were looking at our team going, wow. As much as I wanted to follow the scouts outside and recruit some of them, they're doing a great job. We need that future. Our team is really, as Mr. Costa said, you can't put it in pictures and words, the work that we're getting done. Demolition, I know we showed these pictures as, the contract, but we're usually in every piece of every job doing something. So here you see our team demoing the wall in between prior to them getting in there and doing stuff. But we're always going to be a part of every inch of the projects that go on. So it's impressive to see. These are the pictures that you were looking at before. You can see the floor work going down. And one of the things that you're not quite seeing, you'll see some boots on the back end there, standing behind. Our custodial staff is learning. They're working with the team. We are building our future. We have some young workers in there that are excited. They want to learn, and they want to keep moving up. So we're also doing professional development as we go through these stages. And to see their excitement and what they're accomplishing is just a great part of what we're doing here. There's the hallway, as we said. Again, our team starts looking at the next thing. We're looking at the stuff that you're not looking at, which is windowsills, the unit ventilators, and where do we have to go next? This is the pretty pictures, but we're looking around the prettiness to try and keep it going and put our list together and make a difference. Our grounds team, again, it's the whole team working together. You can see the courtyard, the transformation to prepare it for the upcoming spaces like we're seeing at Oakwood and where we're headed in the future. So they cleared that out. They leveled that to get the groundwork laid for what's to come.
It doesn't really show what it looked like before, where it was almost a jungle.
Yes.
So this is amazing.
To look back and see the stump that Blaze is standing on, the size of the tree and the stuff that was getting pulled out of there, dragged through the building, cut up. You're right. That's what I said. The pictures can't do it justice when you're in there and you're feeling it and you're working with them. That alone was a transformation. That was fun to watch. The grounds team continues their tree trimming across the district. Concentrate effort on the front of the buildings. You should really start to notice where we're pulling out trees. We definitely have a beautification plan that we're going to work with as the facility committee and the group to really give a nice, again, we got the paint going on the inside, the face as you walk in to make it very welcoming and friendly.
We've been removing what I call the 1950s bushes and shrubs.
This picture, to understand the split units going in every single classroom, the ability and the knowledge of our team, every classroom will have split units in it. You could see them up on the rooftop, you know, placing the units carefully, running the lines. I mean, it really is impressive to understand and see. Besides the money that we're saving and those obvious things, it's just the work that the group is doing. Again, that Huntington Station pride, I mean, South Huntington it's coming to life. And then we have our custodial team. We've increased the chemicals in an effort to help them further with custodial cleaning and disinfecting. And then finally, I just want to give thanks to my clerical unit. They're the backbone of our team. They keep us on track and going. We have some new teammates there with Mary Cabot, Catherine Telecamp still in the office, and Veronica Hernandez. But they really they support us and just keep us on track. We'd be lost without them. So I know that was a lot of slides, but thank you very much for giving us the time.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Costa or Mr. Martin? Thank you so much. I think you, Mr. Martin, you mentioned the word craftsmanship, and that's really what you can see. I mean, it's hard to even believe that much work happened over the summer. You know, I tried to pop in like every few weeks at Memorial, and the work that they did during those times is incredible. So, I mean, just pulling out the lockers and grinding down, it's been amazing.
It
Not to
is.
mention the rest of the projects around the district. So,
Well, that's what it is. It's really impressive to know they're not just there. We have a whole district to service. Like I said, 1 million square feet. Oh, and thank you, Dr. Wright. He's probably hiding back there somewhere. He's always helping the grounds team and working with them, and we appreciate that as well.
and that's been a big push by Dr. D'Elia to utilize the skill and talent that we have rather than going out-house, which costs more money. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot more of that, and you can see the quality of the work, as you mentioned throughout. I mean, this is unbelievable work that we're able to do in-house here, and we have a great group of individuals that, and I know you mentioned it, and it's a lot of times the pride
Yeah.
that they have, and you could see it. And, you know, we're definitely moving this place in the right direction. I know we have buildings, as you said, that, you know, from the 50s, and they need some TLC, especially Memorial.
Yeah, they need some love.
But it's getting what it needs, and I'm excited about not just Memorial, but all the work that we're doing here, and to do it in a really cost-effective manner, because we know how much pricing is when we're talking about construction at our homes, any kind of improvement we're trying to do. Those costs are pretty astronomical, and having great craftsmen and individuals that contribute here and come every day and really contribute to this community is tremendous. So
It's making a huge difference. You know, Jay, people like Reggie in the building, we can't get it done without that team out there. They are impressive, and we're blessed to have them. All right, well, thanks.
thank you. All right, I know we had a lot of presentations. We'll take a 5-minute break to stretch or use the restrooms. Thank you. Should be fine. Yeah, I think so. All right, into the business agenda. Take a motion to adopt the agenda. Oh, there's no board members over there. Ms. Clark, seconded by Mr. Scragg, sorry. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Items E through H require one resolution for adoption. We have no bids and scheduled bills. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we have an email communication from a resident. It's a noise complaint regarding the marching band. Is that resident here? Okay. All right. Moving on to new business. Approval of the tax levy. We've got good news here. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight, for the board's approval, we are asking to set the tax rate, which varies from the levy itself, which is based on the assessed valuation of each property. We heard recently from the town of Huntington that the overall assessed value for the 25-26 tax roll came in slightly higher than our estimate from the spring. This turns out to be a favorable rate for the taxpayer. It's an approximate savings of roughly $6.63 per 1,000 of assessed value based on what we had expected during budget time. And that obviously varies house to house based on your exemptions and your assessed value. But overall, favorable for the taxpayer there.
Yeah, good news. Questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to item number 2 is the approval of a whole number of district of location agreements. Is there a motion? Ms. Clark, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Mr. Conway again.
Yes, number 2 and number 3 are very similar here. With these next 2 agenda items, we're requesting board's approval of these various contracts between South Huntington and then the various respective districts. These contracts are in place so that we can then charge back those home districts for students we service through the special ed department that may have an IEP, but they are parentally placed in South Huntington's borders, such as a St. Anthony's school. This agreement allows us to then, like I said, bill back costs for such as administrative costs, evaluation charges, things like that, to service the students.
Okay. The resolution has authorizes a number of agreements. Number 3 just has 2 specific schools. They have a little different agreement. All in favor of number 2? Any opposed? Moving on to item 3, as we just discussed, motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to item number 4 is the approval of a confidential student stipulation as discussed in executive session. Is there a motion? Mr. Bronson, seconded by Ms. Clark. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? And resolution 5, another approval of a confidential stipulation agreement for a student. Is there a motion? Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. Clark. Ms. Lombardi, you want to explain these?
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. So for tonight, for the board approval, we have 2 students who will be attending the attended the Gersh Academy for the 24-25 school year. Both students were unilaterally placed by their parents at Gersh Academy. The students were recommended for Western Suffolk BOCES placement by the CSE. Western Suffolk BOCES was unable to provide placement, and we do not currently have an appropriate placement in district. Both students are diagnosed with autism and require intensive support due to behaviors and delays with self-care, communication, and academics.
Okay. Questions? Yes, Mr. Bronson.
Not a question, but just a clarification. The Gersh Academy, I think you had mentioned, bills us after the completion. That's why these are coming up now. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Gersh Academy bills us the year following the students, so we're paying now for 24-25 school year, yes.
Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to new business 6, approval of an overnight field trip request for the Waldwood High School Marching Band. Motion. Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Any questions? This is for them to attend Syracuse for the Marching Band Championships. All in favor? Any opposed? New business item 7 is the approval of a conference. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Ms. Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the board's approval tonight, we have a request for an overnight conference for Ms. Hilly Carboni and Ms. Sauer, both who represent our ELA department, who will be heading to the National Council of Teachers of English Conference in Denver, Colorado, from November 20th to the 23rd. Looking to bring back a lot of important details and information for our staff.
Excellent. Okay. Questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business. Item number 8 is approval for the district to participate in the Foster Grandparent Program. Motion. Mr. Brunson, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. A few months ago, we were informed that the federal grant supporting the foster grandparent program was cut. However, tonight, I'm excited to share that funding has been restored, allowing our foster grandparent program to continue their amazing work supporting our students. So for the board's approval tonight is this agreement that allows our wonderful program to continue its history of volunteerism with the district. And I know firsthand that there are some grandparents at Countrywood that are going to be super excited to join us again.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. It's always a nice program. We always recognize them, and they're so happy to participate. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to item number 9 is the naming or renaming of 2 district properties. Is there a motion to discuss? We'll do Ms. LaCara and seconded by Ms. Clark. So in June, the district adopted the board adopted the district's recommendations with respect to housing the pre-K program over at Silas Wood and the moving to the 6th grade to 125 Pigeon Hill Road, and we adopted a resolution to that effect. Now, the district is desiring of renaming those properties to be consistent with their new purpose as effective July 1st, 2026. So the property located at 23 Harding Place would be named the Silas Wood Pre-Kindergarten Center, and the property located at 125 Pigeon Hill Road would be named the Memorial 6th Grade Center. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Great. And Mr. Conway, I think you said you have to do something. I don't know if we have to put it on Google Maps now or if to change.
Right now, we're gonna be working with the architects and then with SCD to just get the name change, put through, and then we can work with the county to go from there with naming.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to item number 10 is the hiring of outside district counsel. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Bronson. This is a resolution to hire outside counsel, the Silverman and Associates attorneys at law, to perform a special DASA investigation. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Moving on to item number 11 is approval for the superintendent to attend Leadership Summit in Saratoga Springs. Motion. Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Scragg. This is his annual Leadership Summit. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next, we have the many recommendations by the committees on special education and the committee on preschool special education with dates listed in March, April, May, June, July, August, and September. Is there a motion? Ms. Clark, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next, we have some proposed resolutions for discussion tomorrow at the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association Annual Resolutions Dinner. I always enjoy reading these through and going over them. So this is a really long iterative process. The resolutions are either proposed by New York State School Boards Association or individual member districts, and then if they meet the deadline, then they're reviewed by the New York State School Boards Association Committee, and they either make a recommendation for or against it. Then they're reviewed by the Legislative Committee of the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association. Then they're reviewed by the entire exec board of the Nassau Suffolk School Board Association. And then that brings us to tomorrow night's meeting, in which the full membership of Nassau and Suffolk vote on each of them. So there were quite a number submitted again, though not as many as last year. This year we had 34 resolutions, and these become the advocacy resolutions for the state association, and they'll adopt them at their state business meeting in October, and they'll use these to lobby their state legislators. Interesting proposals. I always like to highlight a couple of them. We had one from the Binghamton School Board, and this one was not recommended by Nassau Suffolk school boards to reduce the number of lockdown drills from 4 to 2 per year. So it was recommended by the state committee, but not the local committee. Then we had a resolution that the New York State School Boards Association support the state to safely incorporate AI into the curriculum and district operations. While that was recommended by the state, it wasn't recommended by Nassau Suffolk. I think it was just viewed as a little too vague to really constitute a standard. And then we have a resolution that's put forth by quite a number of districts, and we see, is what's interesting, is the same lineup of districts throughout. They're putting forth almost a dozen resolutions. Cold Spring Harbor, Massapequa, Oyster Bay, Plain Edge. They just submit tons of resolutions, some of which got recommended. This one was to advocate that the state education department, USDA, reinstate whole milk as an allowable breakfast option. So I mean, these resolutions you can see really run the gamut. You never know what's going to be important to a particular district. Some of them are really parochial concerns, and some kind of come out of the blue. Then we got a resolution to require that the New York State New York State Education Department require a set amount of recess time per day. This wasn't recommended, but a different resolution by the Patchogue Medford School Board was recommended. In my capacity, I opposed both of them because I thought that, why do we want to mandate something? You know, we always oppose mandates, and you know, the curriculum should be set by local school boards. So if we're for local, we can't be for local control sometimes, and then against it other times. So let's see what else to highlight here. Similar, but this one's a little different here. The State School Boards Association will support legislative or regulatory changes to add financial literacy into state standards with the hope of additional state funding to support such standards. So that was recommended because it wasn't really a curriculum change, it was more a standard change. And so it wasn't, we weren't imposing something on ourselves. So, but we already offer that as well, so it's not much of a concern for us. The Plattsburgh School Board had an interesting proposal to advocate for a Share Our Wealth proposal, which would increase New York's top income rates for those earning over $5 million and over $25 million by 2%, with that additional revenue to be invested in public education. That wasn't recommended. It seemed outside the role of school boards. We're not, we don't make taxing policy, so that was not recommended. 26, here's that lineup again: Cold Spring Harbor, Locust Valley, Massapequa, Oyster Bay, Plain Edge. They put one up every year to restore the religious exemption for vaccine mandates, so they try every year on this, and it's never recommended, and it wasn't recommended again. Those same districts put forth another resolution to oppose changes to the curriculum that don't promote academic excellence and merit-based opportunities for students. It wasn't recommended because it was a little vague. Again, it wasn't clear what they were advocating for. Those same districts put forth another resolution. They want home rule authority to strengthen local control by boards of education. Makes sense in the abstract, but home rule is not really a thing for school districts. It's more for local municipalities like towns and villages. Let's see. Woodmere School Board. They are advocating for school board members to be recognized for their service via a locally authorized property tax exemption. Interesting. Might be good to compensate school board members for some way, but it seemed a little self-serving, so it was not recommended. Plus, I think it's kind of like a conflict of interest. We're going to raise your taxes but lower ours, so it wasn't recommended. Let's see. Oh, some of those same districts, here goes Oyster Bay and Plain Edge again. They want to resolve that the School Board Association advocate for the removal of all GMOs, bioengineered food ingredients, heavy metals, hopefully we don't have too many of them, and dangerous chemicals from student meals. It wasn't recommended. It sounds like a great thing, but it was really just too much in one resolution. So, I mean, certainly we don't want heavy metals in there, but we don't really know even if this is an issue. Let's see what else those same districts, those same districts also, let's see, talking about no, skip that one. Then we have the advocacy for daily recess again by Patchogue Medford, and that one is recommended as adopted. I'll read that one because this one's coming up a lot. Resolved that the New York State School Board Association advocate for mandatory implementation of daily recess for all students in schools that serve exclusively elementary grade levels, in addition to scheduled physical education classes. For grade 6 only, when the grade is housed in the same building as K to 5. So I guess if the grade 6 is in a 6 to 7 7 to 8 building or a standalone building like ourselves, then it wouldn't be mandated. That was recommended by the committee. I opposed it on the same grounds that we don't need to impose any more mandates on ourselves. If we want to offer recess, that's a local decision. You know, what you really see is really interesting. You'll see just things all across the spectrum. You know, the Newark School Board supported programs that provide additional supplemental funding for rural districts, for teacher recruitment. So, you know, really something that is an issue somewhere may not be an issue in another one. So it's interesting to learn what the concerns are, but it's sometimes hard to get consensus because the interests of the rural districts are very different often than our interests. So those are some of the resolutions for discussion. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? They're interesting always. So those of you that are coming tomorrow night, you'll see the discussion on the floor, though there's a lot less probably than there used to be. Massapequa apparently dropped out of the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association. They didn't feel their interests were being represented, so usually they make for a lively discussion, so. All right. That is that. Moving on to item 14, update on regionalization. Dr. D'Elia? Ms.
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
We had the opportunity to attend a few meetings last year with 8 out of the 18 Western Suffolk BOCES school districts that are participating in regionalization. And it was a lot of brainstorming. And, you know, there's some ideas there. And then eventually they asked us to invite our curriculum people. So Ms. Kavanaugh and Dr. Hender did attend numerous meetings. And they are, by October 1st, Western Suffolk BOCES does have to submit to New York State a plan of what we're going to do moving forward, the things we're going to look at. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Kavanaugh, who can really explain some of the things that we're looking at within Western Suffolk BOCES.
Okay, thank you, Dr. D'Elia. So the plan is really broken into two parts. Part one is based on priority activities that were identified by the group, and part two really is about regional ideas and recommendations that they would like the state to entertain. So for the part one, a few of the ideas were to coordinate some transportation routes to non-public schools and BOCES programs, and also to address some of the items related to the changes in graduation measures. So that included potentially giving expanded access to advanced coursework regionally and exploring a shared service model potentially for elementary guidance counselors, which was a mandate that went into effect a number of years ago. As far as part two, for some of the regional ideas and recommendations, these aren't plans necessarily that we would participate in, but this is some of the topics that we would like see to go to the state, potentially based on that group. Includes advocacy for mandated relief and additional funding related to some of our student populations, including our Ls and students with disabilities, expanding access to asynchronous advanced coursework, meaning more for our AP classes, providing a statewide framework to support the changes to the graduation pathways, promoting equitable school safety, and greater flexibility with UPK funding. So really those are the topics.
And we're not committing to any of these. You know, we have to see financially where, you know, what implications it could have on the district. So even, you know, moving forward with the plan on October 1st, still we have the ability to say yay or nay moving forward all the way. So just to make everybody feel comfortable that we're not, you know, hardlining committing to anything.
So the next step is a certification that's signed by the superintendent?
Correct. And at any point, if we do list something in the certification that we're no longer interested in, like Dr. D'Elia said, we can remove that.
Any initial thoughts from anyone on these things? Seems the bus route, you know, idea that's that seems like a productive one, right? I mean, that's, costs a lot of money to, transport the students to non-public schools. So, any other thoughts on these? What would the pathways look like, you know, for the, AP courses? You know, what is the thought on that?
For part one,
Yeah.
so really what the next step would be based on the interest from the different districts. So this is both the districts that participated in the planning and the districts that did not would have an opportunity to access this where, for example, if there's a course that's under-enrolled and may not run in a district, another district may be able to send students to that program if they're not able to run. So those were some of the initial conversations, but as with any of these, if we were interested, there would be more conversations to come.
There's a lot of things that have to be worked
Yeah,
out.
a lot of
I assume
moving
there'd have-
parts.
I assume
A lot
there'd
of
have to
moving
be
parts,
contracts
yes.
between the participating districts,
Correct,
right?
union conversations, absolutely.
You know, with all of these, you know, you're looking at legal, potential legal implications, insurance implications. There's a lot, even, these are ideas right now. And to make them reality, there's a lot more work that has to be done.
Now, the policy idea is that's part of the same certification, or that's,
Yes, part one and part two are part of the same application or submission that Ms. Perpillo would submit to the state. So at the end of that, we're asked which of these things we would like to potentially participate in.
okay. And this is on behalf of what, the Western Suffolk BOCES?
Western Suffolk, yes.
Okay, then Eastern Suffolk and Nassau would have their own submissions, assuming there's participants in those?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And how does, with respect to like the policy-based ones, do you know what the outcome of that is gonna be? Is that then to be the subject of lobbying, or?
I do believe that Ms. Perpillo, I spoke with her today. She's been recently in Albany having conversations about what the next steps for this would be, but they're hoping that, yes, that based on our region giving this feedback, that it would be entertained by legislators and people upstate who are trying to make some decisions on our behalf. So this could potentially influence that work.
Okay. And last year, we voted to opt into this participation. I know a lot of districts didn't, but I think it was a worthwhile decision to see what's out there. And these are really not, I don't think, controversial things. You know what I mean? This isn't, you know, somebody taking over your school district or, you know, consolidation. You know, these are things that could result in economies of scale, perhaps. So, okay. Great. Thanks, Ms. Kavanaugh. Thank you, Dr. Lee. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Bronson.
I was just going to agree. It's good to be at, good to be at the table. I know it takes, everybody's time, including Ms. Kavanaugh and others, but I think it's good to have a voice. And as everybody's mentioned, it's getting a voice to the table, but it's not committing us to anything. And ultimately, as things move forward, the devil's in the details. But if we like it, we had input. And if we don't, we can just say no. So.
And we will bring everything back to the board.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 15, we have a agreement between South Huntington and Huntington. Oh, wow, rare. Okay. Like a trade between the Mets and the Yankees.
All right, now the question, who's the Mets and who the Yankees? There's more success in one than the other.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to get in trouble on that. Motion. Ms. Clark, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Dr. Hender.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval is an agreement with our friends and neighbors over in the Huntington School District. This agreement is for a student who resides in our district and attends private school. This student qualifies to participate in the Scholastic Enrichment and Resources for Children in Huntington program, also known as the SEARCH program.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions of Dr. Hender? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, next up we have personnel schedules. Personnel schedules 2, 9, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, and 22. Is there a motion? Mr. Scragg, seconded by Mr. Bronson. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, next we have administrative reports. We have our facilities committee meeting minutes, but we just had a long presentation on facilities. So Ms. LaCara, with your permission, I'll skip that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm on the committee with him, so I've heard it twice now, and so is he. I'll just make a few. This was back in May, so I'll mention just a couple points. We talked about a physical education plan that Mr. Barth is going to review it, going over the main components, and he's going to ensure that we're following the guidelines and regulations and policies that are put forth by the state for physical education. And then, of course, we have mentioned it, the Visions Committee was discussed for the Portrait of a Graduate in Pathways. It's up and running, thanks to Ms. Kavanaugh. And I don't know, we have about 50 members, yes? And we met in June and met again last week. And they're going to be focus groups to determine these pathways. It's going to be going K through 12. And Lucy's on it, and Mr. Bronson and myself, and staff and teachers, parents of different age people, students. So we're getting all kind of input to create these pathways. And it's a long process, and more is to come from the state, but that was a big thing we discussed in May, and it's up and running now. And then the last point I'm going to mention, but it's also up and running, was a big discussion of the cell phone policy back in May. But it's now been implemented. We've all read it. All the board members have read it. And we all know it's a starting bell to ending bell, no cell phones. And that was a major point of discussion. So those are the highlights from that meeting.
Thank you, Ms. LaCara, and thank you for your work on the Visions Committee. That's an enormous undertaking, so a lot of work. So thank you, Ms. Kavanaugh, as well. Future meetings are listed. Next meeting is October 8th, and then the 22nd of October. Comments by board members? No comments. Dr. D'Elia.
Okay. Real quickly, because I know, Lucy, you have homework tonight, right? You have to do? All right. We had a great weekend, as Mr. Ciapetta mentioned earlier. Mr. Malazzo, we had a great opening football weekend, defeating Pat Med. And then Saturday, we had an excellent Unity Day. Our school district takes a large role in it, and it was great. Our honorees were honored very well, and it's a collaboration between the town. Huntington School District did play a larger role this year. Now you're gonna have me thinking, all like they're the Mets or the Yankees. So, but they did, help us out, and it is a joint effort with the town. And I don't know if anybody's keeping tabs, but I did say I predicted good weather for that day, and my percentages have been pretty good. I'm not ready to talk about graduation yet, but I think I'm going to be under pressure for it. But I think I'm about 3-0 right now. So. Also, this is National Security Guard Appreciation Week. We thank our security guards for all they do in keeping our staff and students safe. Also, there'll be and I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, we're still struggling to find bus monitors, and I know that's a mission. We did receive directive from the board. We're trying, we're advertising, but we are doing a parent square tomorrow. Usually don't do employment opportunities via parent square to the community, but we're trying. We're trying to reach every venue, every way. We want them, you want them, we all want them, and we want to take that data, but we need to get monitors. So I just to be on the lookout for a parent square tomorrow. If anybody has friends, anybody if you can work in their schedule, it makes sense for them. We would love to have them. We have a great training program, and good to go, right, Dr. Wright? Yes, exactly. Thank you. And anybody celebrating the holidays, the religious holidays next week, we hope you have a great holiday week. And, we're off Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. It's right in the middle. So we're here on Monday, off Tuesday and Wednesday, and be back on Thursday. So happy holidays.
Thank you, Dr. D'Elia, and I want to thank you and your co-chair for the Unity Day Parade and the celebration. It was, I think, one of our best ones. I think there was a lot of really positive reaction on social media on that. And I think we didn't have one since April 2024, so it was a good gap, and there was a lot of planning that went into it, and it was a much better weather date than we had that April, that's for sure. I think it was 30 degrees that day, so. But it was great, so you deserve a lot of credit for organizing that along with Kim Jaradu, and we had great sponsors and a lot of participation. There was a lot of community there, so excellent. Just other note, another event over the weekend was Marching Band. It was their opening performance of Persephone, and that took place over at Brentwood High School, and they were actually the first up. We were supposed to be second, but we were there on time, and the group that was supposed to go first was not, so we ended up going first. And they did an excellent job. So congratulations to them. They got a busy schedule coming up. And I don't know if we had mentioned it. We talked about a lot in facilities, and you know, we want to do a lot more painting in buildings next year, including Stimson, and we're going to be able to do it because we won't be hosting summer school next year. So we think that's, give that building a breather from hosting summer school. We've hosted it for decades, so it'll be somebody else's opportunity to do that in Western Suffolk BOCES, but not ours. Lucy.
Okay, I'd just like to start with, we are the Yankees and Huntington is the Mets.
Oh, you can say that, I can't.
Sorry, not sorry. If you disagree, I'm not sorry.
I swear I didn't say anything so hard.
You both actually stole the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to touch on the marching band. Persephone is a great show. I've seen clips of it from my friends, and congrats to them. Big congrats to them. And they have competitions almost every weekend coming up, with the big one, Syracuse. So good luck to them with everything, and marching band is a big commitment. So I commend them for everything they do. And football, I was also going to say that. This Friday, we have a football game at 6 o'clock against Station North. The theme is blackout, so if you're going, blackout, okay. And then, of course, hit the concession stands run by the Booster Club while you were there. On Wednesday, tomorrow, from 4 to 8 p.m., Chick-fil-A is hosting a fundraiser for the Anthropology Bronx Zoo field trip. So if you go, use the code WWHSW on your mobile order, or mention it when you're in store, so go and support them. Hispanic Heritage Month started this week, and our members of Latino Heritage are participating in a National Hispanic Heritage Month Spirit Week to embrace and share the culture with our community. Yesterday, students were walking around school representing the flag of their country, and it was very nice to see representation from so many different nationalities. I would also like to note that September is Suicide Awareness Month, and towards the end of the month, a club at Women called Natural Helpers goes around school passing out ribbons to raise awareness, making our students feel safe and know that they are supported by their peers. And of course, last weekend was Unity Day, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go because I had to take my darn SAT, but that's my last one, so go senior year. The marching band, dance team, Stimson cheer team, and the Latino Heritage Club were all participating in that, so it was nice to see our representation. As for other things happening at Stimson, curriculum night was just held there last night to give parents some knowledge about their teachers' classes and everything, and that is also happening this Thursday at Whitman. And next week, Stimson is holding a shoe drive called Got Sneakers, a great way to give to the community and help where we can.
Great. And I saw you on Instagram. You got an award. Can you tell us about
Yes,
that?
I did. I think I mentioned it at the previous board meeting or something, but I got an award for Long Island Scholars Artist Alliance, and I had to submit a few videos of me singing and some monologues, and I wrote an essay, and my GPA was above a certain status, so I was able to apply for it, and me and other senior Kate Sabellico, she got the award for dance, and I got it for theater. So we are getting our features in Newsday. I'm getting mine in March, and she's getting hers in April.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Thank you.
We've had some great press recently. I know, I believe you were interviewed on cell phones, right?
Yes, I was actually interviewed on cell phones with the president, Isabel Galindo. That aired last week. And then what aired a few days ago on NBC was the food review of in our school. So me and a few other kids from a bunch of people in our district, we got together and we reviewed 5 different meals and that were possible school lunch options, and it was really cool to taste everything, and we gave our feedback on everything, and we had interviews, and that was just aired, so that was also really cool too. So lots of press.
Yeah, especially on the Today Show. That's great.
Yes.
So it's very rare. Yeah, thank you to our public relations department on getting that scoop. All right, thank you, Lucy. Voice of the residents. Any residents like to address the board? No, they're tired. Okay. With that, I take a motion to go into executive session, discuss a matter of personnel. Motion. Mr. Brunson, seconded by Ms. Clark. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, everyone. Have a nice holiday.